All right, so before we get this video started, I think it's only right that we point out how good that light that's coming through this window is looking on your boy right now. You know what I'm saying? Hitting the side of my face, you know what I'm saying? With the, coming through the blinds, it's looking all good. We all photographers and videographers here, so we can all appreciate some good light. So let's take a moment to appreciate this good light. All right, but getting into this video, I'm super upset because I already did this video, at least this portion of the video where I talked about the camera and the things I liked and this and that and blah, 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 and where I ramble and stuff like that. I already did this, but I forgot. Actually, I deleted the audio, didn't forget anything. I deleted the audio and now I have to do it again. So here we are talking about the Pentax 672, but as I mentioned in the first video, I have not shot with the Pentax 672 ever in life, so I don't have an actual I guess I would say first impressions, and I'm going to compare it to my Pentax 6.7 that I already have. So as I said before, let's go shoot with the Pentax 672. So what better one thing to test with this camera than portraits? And today we're shooting those portraits with Gigi. So right off the back, this camera feels really, really good. It feels like a regular camera with a grip that you can hold on to properly. The digital components of this camera are great. It makes using the camera a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, and a little bit more new. I like the flow of this camera. Honestly, it just feels like a Pentax 6.7 with some more features. All right, so now that we are back and I was able to give y'all some of my first impressions out there in the field and just things that I noticed right off the bat, it's time to sit down and talk some film nerd stuff and just kind of compare it to my other Pentax 6.7 and just kind of talk about the camera in general, what I like, what I don't like, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. So we all know that the Pentax 6.7 II costs a significant amount of more money than the Pentax 6.7 or the Pentax 6x7. I know they have like 3-4 versions of this camera. So the Pentax 6.7 II being the most expensive. And is it worth it? Like, is paying the extra $1,500 for this camera or $2,000 for this camera actually worth it instead of just getting the Pentax 6.7 or Pentax 6x7? So anyway, the Pentax 6.7 II was introduced in 1998, 1999. I don't know. I truly don't care. I actually don't even think that's important. It actually is kind of important when it comes to what's now inside of the Pentax 6.7. So just know, late 90s, this camera was introduced, damn near the 2000s. And with that being the case, this older, newer camera has some older but newer technologies within it. So for one, this camera had more digital components in it. One being aperture priority mode and the different shooting modes that the camera offered in general. So all you had to do was set your aperture and your ISO, and the camera did the rest for you. Another cool thing is that when you do shoot in aperture priority mode, you can shoot half stops on this camera. Instead of being just like 1/1000th of a second, 1/500th, the full stops that you see on most film cameras, you can shoot those in between stops like 1/45th and 1/90th and so forth. So that's pretty dope. So aperture priority mode mixed with exposure compensation mixed with the digital meter that's within the viewfinder of this camera made it basically like shooting a 35mm camera. That's what I would compare it to. I personally would never use aperture priority, but it is a cool feature that the original Pentaxes do not have. And I can't lie, the digital components that are on this camera are enticing. Like, it does make shooting with this camera a little bit, I would say, more fun and just a little bit easier. Just having a digital readout of what shot you're on, the film, the ISO that you're at in the film you're using, and just being able to look down and see those things digitally does make this stuff a little bit easier and a little bit better. The Pentax 672 also has different metering modes. I personally use the center weighted metering mode. I've used that on basically all of my cameras. I don't like spot meters within camera, so honestly the different metering modes mean nothing to me. I know they're in there because they're for, you know, people who want to use the different metering modes, but for me, I would always stick with the center weighted metering mode. But it's cool that it comes with multiple modes for metering. Also, before going into taking these pictures that I took with this camera, I did hear that the viewfinder was a lot bright, that it was a better viewfinder, that it was brighter and just easier to compose and focus up your shots. I don't know if I had that experience. It seemed kind of the same. It did seem a lot brighter, definitely seemed a lot brighter, but for some reason it seemed a little bit smaller. And I wouldn't say that it was easier to focus or compose my shots. It kind of seemed about the same. So also not really sure where that's coming from, but overall the viewfinder on the Pentax 672 is brighter. I will give it that. And for some people who are hard of seeing, you know, your boy got 20/20 vision, perfect eyes. It's not hard for me to focus on my Pentax 6.7, or it wasn't really hard for me to focus on the Pentax 6.7 II. I'm not going to say that the viewfinder being brighter made it easier for me, because it seemed pretty much the same for me. And also, in terms of how the camera feels, I kind of touched on it out there when I was shooting with it, but it definitely feels better. It definitely feels more like a camera. The Pentax 6.7, as you can see, is very awkward to hold. It doesn't seem like it doesn't feel like a camera that you're naturally just used to and that you're historically used to using. You definitely need this grip or some form of a 3D printed grip on this side to have a better feel of the camera, because if not, you're just really holding a box, which makes it very hard to focus and very hard to compose, and not the easiest time. So I will say that the Pentax 6.7 II, in terms of ergonomics, it is in my opinion, a better camera for walking around with and holding and transporting and things of that nature. Like I said, you could get the 3D printed grip, you could get the wooden handle and hold it like that. That does definitely make it easier, but the Pentax 6.7 II comes equipped with, you know, a grip already. So I definitely wouldn't say that the Pentax 6.7 II is built better than the Pentax 6.7s, but I will say that it definitely feels better to hold than these cameras. It just feels a little bit more premium, if that makes sense. But all in all, is this camera worth the $1,500 extra dollars? I don't know. I feel like that's something that you guys are going to have to decide for yourself, because if I'm being honest, I am not in a position, nor do I want to be in a position where I'm saying where things, if something is worth it or not. I already stated that for me personally, it's not worth it, but for you, is it worth it? I don't know. That's something you'd have to figure out on your own and come to that decision on your own. But hopefully this video can help you make that decision or come to that decision a little bit easier or faster, or whatever it can be for you. But yeah, the Pentax 6.7 and the Pentax 6.7 II, both beautiful cameras, both create beautiful images. I will say that I see no difference in the images that either of these cameras made. So that, in my opinion, makes it a very clear choice. get the cheaper camera, get the same photos, going about your day. Amazingly, the sun stayed where it was this whole time I've been recording, which is good for me because now the video is gonna look extra cool. But that's gonna wrap it up for your boy. I'm glad you guys tuned in to the video. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do me a favor and like the video. Always appreciate it. Put your boy in the algorithm and all the other stuff that comes along with liking videos. I appreciate it. It's very much appreciated. I can't express how much I do appreciate it. So with that being said, I am about to get up out of here and go do some shit. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Stop lacking, you know, just do it. I know you be here every day anyway, not subscribed. Might as well just hit the subscribe button. We all guilty of it. We got the people we watch on YouTube but just don't subscribe to. It's all good. I do the same thing, but I'm telling you right now, bro, hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. But now, with all of that being said, and now this being my second time doing this video, I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. Follow me on social media, join the Discord, do all the shit, man. Let's get it. Let's go do some shit.